Listen, if you're watching this, something is wrong, and I need to be honest with you right now. Most people set goals. Most people dream about change. Most people want something better for their life. But almost nobody actually makes it happen. And the worst part, they have no idea why. They think they're lazy. They think they lack motivation. They think they're just not talented enough. But here's the thing. That's not the real problem. Not even close. I'm talking to you right now because I've been there. I've watched this happen to hundreds of people. Smart people, ambitious people, people with real potential. And they all hit the same wall. They start strong. They're excited. They've got that energy. And then something happens. Around day 3, day 5, maybe 2 weeks in, it all just stops. And they're sitting there wondering what went wrong. But the truth is, they never understood how success actually works in the first place. So if you're one of those people who sets goals and then watches them slip away, if you've tried before and failed, if you feel like you're stuck in a cycle where nothing really changes, no matter how hard you try, then stay with me. Because in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you something that changes everything. And I'm not talking about motivation. I'm not talking about pushing harder. I'm talking about understanding the actual system that separates the people who achieve their goals from the people who don't. The people who transform their lives from the people who just dream about it. And honestly, this is where most people fail. They fail right at the beginning. They fail because they don't understand something fundamental. They think that success is about having the biggest dreams. They think it's about being the most talented. They think it's about pure willpower and motivation. But wait, let me explain this. Because none of that is actually true. And nobody talks about this. This is the real reason why you're not where you want to be. See, I used to think the same thing. I used to believe that if I just pushed harder, if I just wanted it more, if I just found the right motivation, everything would work out. I'd set these massive goals. I'd tell everyone around me about them. I'd feel this rush of excitement for about a week. And then, reality hit. The excitement wore off. Life got in the way. Things got hard. And I quit. And I'd feel terrible about it. I'd feel like a failure. I'd feel like something was broken inside me. But here's the truth, and nobody tells you this. The problem wasn't me. The problem was the system. I was using a broken system, a system that almost everyone uses, a system that's designed to fail. Because the system that most people use is based on motivation. And listen carefully. Motivation is the most unreliable thing in the world. Motivation comes and goes. Motivation depends on how you feel. Motivation is emotional. And emotions change. Every single day, your emotions change. So if you're building your entire goal achievement system on motivation, you're building on sand. But here's something important, and this is where things start to change. The people who actually achieve their goals, they don't rely on motivation. They don't wake up every single day feeling fired up and excited. Some days they feel terrible. Some days they don't want to do anything, but they do it anyway. And the difference? The difference is that they're using a completely different system. They've figured out something that the vast majority of people never understand. They've learned to build discipline. Not motivation, discipline. Now, before you roll your eyes and think, okay, this is just another person telling me to work harder. Wait, this is not about working harder. This is about working smarter. This is about understanding how humans actually function. Because discipline is not what you think it is. Discipline is not about forcing yourself to do things you don't want to do. That's the broken version. That's the version that makes you feel miserable. That's the version that most people try, and it doesn't work. Real discipline?
real discipline is different. Real discipline is about building systems and habits that make doing the right thing automatic. It's about removing the need for motivation altogether. It's about creating an environment and a routine where success is the path of least resistance. And that's the shift that changes everything. That's the shift from motivation-based thinking to discipline-based thinking. And honestly, once you understand this, you'll never look at goals the same way again.
So let me show you exactly how this works. There's actually a system, a simple system, and it has only 4 parts. 4 parts that, if you apply them, will completely transform how you approach your goals. Not tomorrow, not next month, starting today. Because these 4 parts are practical. They're real. They're based on how human psychology actually works, not on how we wish it worked. The first part is this, and this is crucial. You have to make your goal so specific that you can measure it. Not, I want to get better. That's vague. That's useless. You need to know exactly what you're aiming for. You need numbers, you need dates, you need clarity. Because here's the thing, your brain can't aim at a target it can't see. It's like trying to hit a bullseye in the dark. It's impossible. So your first step is brutal honesty and brutal clarity. What exactly do you want? By when? How will you know you've succeeded? Write it down. Make it specific, make it measurable. The second part is this. You have to remove the decision. Here's something important. Every single day, you make thousands of decisions. Your brain is exhausted by the time you get to your goal, so you need to remove the decision altogether. This is why the most successful people in the world don't decide whether to work out. They have a specific time, a specific place, a specific routine. It's automatic. There's no decision. You don't wake up and think, should I work out today? That's a decision, and your brain is tired. Instead, you wake up and it's just what happens next. It's built into your routine. It's part of your day. Like brushing your teeth. You don't think about it. You just do it. And this brings me to the third part. You have to make it so easy that you can't fail. This is where most people get it wrong. They set massive goals and then try to make massive changes all at once. It's like trying to run a marathon when you've never jogged before. Of course you fail. You're supposed to fail when you do that. So instead, you make it stupid easy. You break it down into the smallest possible steps. Steps so small that they seem almost ridiculous. But here's the secret. That's exactly the point. Because the goal isn't to achieve greatness on day 1. The goal is to do it tomorrow, and then the day after that, and then the day after that. One day at a time. That's how all real change happens. That's how you build momentum. That's how you build the identity of someone who actually does what they say they're going to do. And the fourth part is this. You have to track it. Because what gets measured gets managed. What gets tracked gets done. This is psychology. Your brain responds to progress. Your brain needs to see that you're actually moving forward. So you need a way to track your progress that's simple and visible. It could be a calendar where you put an X for each day you do the thing. It could be a simple notebook. It could be an app. Doesn't matter. What matters is that every single day you see evidence that you're doing the work. You're building the streak. You're building the habit. And that visible progress becomes its own motivation. But notice, you don't need external motivation anymore. You're creating internal motivation through evidence of progress. Now, here's where it gets deep. And this is the part that most people miss. Because understanding these 4 steps is great. But understanding why they work, that's when everything changes. See, there's something happening in your brain when you do this. There's actual neurological change happening. When you repeat a behavior, your brain starts to wire it in. Your neural pathways start to strengthen around that behavior. It becomes easier. It becomes automatic. And at a certain point, it stops being something you do, and it becomes something you are. And that's the identity shift. That's when you stop being someone who's trying to get fit,
and you become a fit person. You stop being someone who's trying to learn, and you become a learner. You stop being someone who's trying to build a business, and you become an entrepreneur. And this shift is everything. Because once that shift happens, the behavior doesn't feel like discipline anymore. It feels natural. It feels like who you are. It feels like what you do. Because it is who you are now. You've literally changed your identity. And that's not motivational talk. That's neuroscience. That's how your brain actually works. Your brain is shaped by your repeated actions. You are literally becoming what you practice. So if you practice discipline, you become a disciplined person. If you practice showing up, you become someone who shows up. If you practice learning, you become someone who learns. Your identity is not fixed. It's built through repetition. But here's where reality hits, and I need to be real with you about this. Because understanding this system is one thing. Actually doing it is another thing. And this is the part where most people fail. They understand it intellectually. They know it makes sense.
They feel excited about it, but then they go back to their normal life. And normal life is hard. Normal life has distractions. Normal life has obstacles. Normal life has that voice in your head that says, maybe tomorrow. And without understanding the discipline required, that voice wins. That voice always wins. So I need to tell you something, and you need to hear this clearly. This is not a quick fix. This is not a hack. This is not something that works in a few days and then you're done. This is something you're going to do for months, maybe for the rest of your life. And that's the point. Because real change, lasting change, identity level change, that takes time. That takes repetition. That takes showing up when you don't feel like it. That takes doing the thing even when the excitement wears off. That takes discipline on days when you feel tired. And if you're not willing to do that, then nothing I'm telling you matters. Because the system works. The system absolutely works. But only if you actually use it. And here's the reality. Most people won't. Most people will watch this, feel inspired for a few hours, and then go back to exactly what they were doing before. They'll set goals again next year, and they'll watch another video, and they'll feel inspired again. And nothing will change. And that's not their fault. That's the design of our world. Everything is designed to keep you in the easy default. Everything is designed to keep you comfortable. Everything is designed to keep you exactly where you are. Your environment is working against you. Your habits are working against you. Your social circle is probably working against you. Everything is conspiring to keep you from changing. But that's also your power. Because if you understand that, if you see it clearly, then you have a choice. You can see the system. You can see how it's working. And you can decide to step out of it. You can create a different environment. You can build different habits. You can find different people. You can choose discipline over comfort. You can choose growth over ease. You can choose the hard path that leads somewhere over the easy path that leads nowhere. That's the actual choice. That's what's really on the table. And here's what I want to leave you with. Not motivation, not a temporary boost of excitement, but a clear understanding of something fundamental. You are not failing because you lack talent. You're not failing because you lack intelligence. You're not failing because you're lazy or broken or not good enough. You're failing because you're using a broken system. You're using a system that's based on something unreliable. You're using a system that almost everyone uses. And that system doesn't work. But you don't have to use that system anymore. You can build a different system. A system based on clarity. A system based on removing decisions. A system based on making it easy. A system based on tracking progress. A system based on building identity through repetition. And that system works. It works for people who were like you. People who failed before. People who tried and didn't make it. People who felt broken.
And then they understood this, and everything changed.
So here is what I'm asking you to do. Not someday, not when you feel more motivated, but this week. Pick one goal, just one, not 5, not 3, 1, and write it down. Specific, measurable, clear. Then build your system around it. Make the decision of when and where you're going to do it. Make it so easy that you can't fail. Find a way to track it. And then start. Start today if you can. But if not today, then this week. And then do it tomorrow. And the day after that. And the day after that. Because here's the truth. And this is what separates the people who change from the people who stay the same. The people who change are not smarter than you. They're not more talented than you. They're not more motivated than you. They're just people who decided to do the thing just one more time. Just one more day. Just one more week. Until doing the thing became who they are. Until discipline became identity. Until success became automatic.
And that can be you. That can be your story. But only if you decide right now that you're going to do it differently. That you're going to build a system that works. That you're going to show up even when you don't feel like it. That you're going to trust the process. That you're going to keep going. So, what's it going to be? Are you going to keep using the broken system? Are you going to set another goal that you won't achieve? Are you going to feel inspired by this video and then go back to exactly what you were doing? Or are you going to be different? Are you going to be the person who actually does it? Are you going to be the person who builds the system? Are you going to be the person who shows up? Because you have that choice right now, in this moment. That choice is yours. Make it count.